सर टिके कॉलेज ରୁ ଆସିଲା ବେଳେ लेट ହେଇଗଲା ତ।
ठीक है आय आसी लगी केशव
Sir, good evening, sir.
good evening you are from Bargod
No, sir, Navrampur district, sir.
right Navaram प्राय मैं देखुल 30 खंड पिला कनेक्ट होउछन प्रतिदिन 30 32 आज कांटी कमी जंद आज 4 जण आछो एतरो प्राय हे जानती 25 20 25 गेली तो ना बोलना कौन प्लीज गली जयंती जयंती वेलकम जयंती
Thank you, sir.
you are from
Bhadrak.
Bhadrak which place Jayanti Bhadrak which place exact
Chandbali.
oh Chandbali okay and let us discuss in formal way in an informal way so that the number of students by that time will be increasing by this let me welcome you all to the last day session today the last day by this time if you just recall that in an organization the leader is there to make the functions different functions of the organization effective the leader should be effective and there are different qualities we have discussed what makes a good leader so able leadership under the able leadership of the leader it can function the organization can function effectively an organization can function effectively if the right decisions are taken by the leader. If the decisions are wrong, then something wrong goes in the organization. Then if something goes wrong, it will be difficult on the part of the organization to achieve its goal, organization goal. So for all these purposes, for example, to make the functioning of the organization effective, an effective leader is required. An effective leader must make right decisions. For making the right decisions, there is a need of interaction among the workers, among the leader and the workers, like that. So therefore, it necessitates communication. If what is to be told has been told effectively, and if anything what is to be communicated has been communicated properly, then the message will be conveyed. And such communication is very much essential in the case of your organizational functioning. Therefore, to make the educational management or to make the educational organization more operative, more operational, more functional, communication plays an important role. So that has all been talked about in block 4. In block 4, the title is Communication in Educational Management. When you are managing the system of education, maybe school, maybe college, any formal education system, organization, then communication is a must. You have to communicate your ideas, what are the roles we expect of the workers, whenever they have the problems, what can they do, like that. Therefore, this block 4 has 3 units: unit 12, unit 13, unit 14. In unit 12, the concept of communication, its relevance in the context of managing education system, all has been talked about. Then in unit 13, organizational communication. When you are communicating in a particular organization. So that has well been talked about in the organizational communication. The last unit, that is your 14, unit 14, is all about communication, effective communication. Already I have told you, if the education system, if the organization has to operate effectively, then communication must be effective. Through communication, the leader will make clear what is to be done, how it is to be done, who will be doing all this. So therefore, what are the approaches that a leader should adopt to make his communication effective? So all these effective communication approaches have been talked about in unit 4. So this is in gist. So let us come to unit 12 in detail. The title of unit 12 is Meaning and Relevance of Communication in Educational Management. If you talk about communication etymologically, historically, the word communication comes from Latin word communicare, which means to share. That means whenever somebody wants to share, so there is a need of communication. So communication means sharing. Now what to share? The question is, if communication means sharing, then what to share? Sharing ideas, sharing messages, sharing your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions regarding the working situation. Sometimes you can give direction as a leader. Now this is how to go, proceed. Some teachers may ask you, some student may ask you, sir, should you come tomorrow? You can say communicate either in a verbal way or in a non-verbal way. You can give a notice. Now you can say, so if tomorrow the school will be closed, then it will be given, you will be communicated through notice, or any message will be communicated to you. So like that. Therefore, communication is a question of sharing. It is the process that allows human beings and other organisms to exchange information by several methods. There are different methods of communicating. Sometimes it is mistaken that communication means saying something. Verbally something is to be told. No, not necessarily. For example, you are in the class, you are a teacher. Prasmita is a teacher. Some of you are teachers. You are a teacher. In the classroom situation, you find 2 or 3, not all students, 3 or 4 students taking the last bench. They are gossiping among themselves. You have noticed this. As a teacher, what to do? Either you can say, you 4 students, why are you creating problem? So I'm observing for the last 5 to 10 minutes, you are discussing among yourself, therefore the class is affected. This is one of the ways through which you can communicate. Or without saying anything, you can have eye contact. So make your eye upon them in a constant manner. Now this can communicate to the students of those 4 students who are creating disturbances. Oh, the teacher is not appreciating our discussion gossip. Let us not discuss. Please sit down and please stop our discussion. So that means you are not saying anything, but your eyes says many things. When you put your eyes upon them in a different way, that can communicate that what you want to say. So like that. So that is non-verbal. We are using body languages for communication. So that we'll talk about. Now, for example, we can say communication is a process of responding. The process of responding and reacting is what we mean by communication. For example, the teacher is asking questions. If you know the answer, you can say the answer. If you do not, for example, you do not know the answer, you can say, sorry, sir, I do not know the answer. So this is how you are communicating. Sometimes the student is sitting outside or the student is standing outside. Unless you allow the student to come to the class, the student will not come to class. Now he can say, sir, may I come in? You can say yes, or you can use your hand. Come like this. So that is symbolic, non-verbal. Now the student can understand, oh, the teacher is allowing me by the gesture, like that. So therefore, this is verbal or non-verbal. But basically, communication is a process of responding or reacting to the situation. Anyhow, therefore, we can say in the simplest way, in page 6, it is given, communication is transferring a message containing information to a receiver by a sender. Sure, definitely. Where there is a question of communication, there are two parties. One is sending and another is receiving. In the classroom situation, mostly in the classroom situation, the teacher is teaching, means the teacher is sending the message and the students are listening patiently with all patience. Receiver, teacher is a giver, sender of message, and the students are receiver. Sometimes the student may ask or this teacher can receive. So therefore, classroom situation is a communicative process. So the teacher speaks something, the students receive. Sometimes the students ask question to the teacher responds, like that. So this is according to Glenn and Smith. Communication is a dynamic process that individuals use to exchange ideas. Definitely, communication is a question of exchanging ideas. What I know, I have to tell you by using example, by giving illustration, by explaining the situation. Because the teacher, what is teaching? Teaching is an interaction between the mature and immature personality. Mostly the teacher is experienced, mature. The students are comparatively immature. So therefore, the teacher can exert influence because of his expertise, because of his experience, because of his visualization, because of his understanding, knowledge, something like that. So ideas relate experiences and share desires through speaking, writing, gestures, sign languages. So these are the different medium or medium through which we can communicate. Either you are speaking, it means communicating. Either you are writing, sometimes, for example, nowadays, letter writing is not found. In my time, envelope or a postcard or your inland letter were used as letters to communicate your idea. For example, you are staying in the hostel, you are writing a letter to your parents, father, I require something more money, please. In those days, MO, in my time, MO, money order was there. So you are writing. But nowadays, within twinkle of eyes, within 10 seconds, 5 seconds, the message can go. Now you are doing SMS or telephonic, something like that, or because of the education, because of the technological advancement. So writing, gestures also, as I have told you. Sometimes, for example, you are raising your eyebrows. You are making the nose, something like that. Crossing your eyes, crossing your nose. That means you do not like the situation which has been created by the students. We call it castor oil situation. Joda Telugu sungile jeevan nakada imti hue, like that. You do not like the situation created by the students in the classroom situation. Sign language, you are using your something sign, something like that. So therefore, this is a communication is a dynamic process. Why? Dynamic changing. Always you are not using the same process of exchanging your ideas. For example, the match between Pakistan, cricket match, the cricket match between Pakistan and India has taken place. After 2 or 3 days, you are displaying that in a bar diagram. In a bar diagram, first over, you are comparing India's position was like this, Pakistan's position was like this. Second over, third over, fourth over, fifth over. This is how. Now, you are not describing, you are not telling that in the first over, Pakistan has scored like this. In the second over, Pakistan has not done well. You are not telling. Just showing the picture, diagram, histogram. And from the histogram, the students can understand. So histogram is a process of communicating ideas, thoughts, feeling, emotions, or messages like that. Similarly, Scrum defines communication as the function of persuading, informing, teaching, and entertaining people. So these are the 4 functions, 4 types of things that happens through communication according to Scrum. Either you are persuading, for example, you just think of your child who stays. For some reason, what has been told by the father has not been brought. For example, the father has promised you to give a pair of shoes, and the father has not brought because money was not there, something like that. Now you are crying, you are not talking with the parents. You say, no, I will not take my food. Now the mother comes, the mother convinces you that my daughter, my son, do you know that the father has financial crisis? You must understand that next time when money will be there, the salary will be drawn. I promise that it will be purchased. For the time being, don't do like this. Please understand the situation. You are persuading. Similarly, there are many situations. A student has come to you. He is not thinking very well about the exam. Now you are persuading. Don't worry. Next time will come. Therefore, N or no. Your Abdul Kalam said, no means next opportunity. Yes, there is another opportunity to give. What is the problem? Persuading, informing. Sometimes you are giving information, knowledge. The student says, ask something. Sir, what is the capital of this country? You are telling, oh, the capital of this country is like this. So informing. Or also you are informing the train timing. So then Konark will be arriving at the station by this time, informing. Teaching. What is teaching? Teaching causes learning. If the students learn, it is because of the teacher. What does the teacher do? The teacher is teaching. Engaged in different activities, organizing a variety of activities so that the students will learn. To effect learning, the teacher is organizing. So teaching is a question of communicating. Teaching is a question of influencing. The teacher, through his knowledge, through his understanding, through his experience, tries to influence the students. That is personality. Then another is entertaining people. Yes, you know that for example, those who have seen the great Kapil Sharma show, so he tried to communicate with a smiling face. You are laughing, you are very happy. It is entertainment program. This is communication. Anyhow, then come to functions of communication. What are the functions? For example, already I have told you information. You are giving some kind of knowledge. So communication refers to collective storage and dissemination of information for wider. The teacher is giving you knowledge. That is information. For example, who is the Prime Minister of France? The teacher says he is the Prime Minister. So it is information. The teacher has communicated. Therefore, it enables the people to participate in and taking intelligent decisions. When you get the information from the teacher was teaching, communicating. Teaching means communicating. Through his communication, the teacher tries to disseminate knowledge. And therefore, information has been taken as a resource for development. What is the need of information? Through information, or information becomes a resource. That is the source through which the teacher can progress. The students can progress. The country can make advancement. An example of information function of communication has been learning material itself. For example, now you are all MA students through IGNOU, MA education students through IGNOU. Some are working, some are not working. You have been provided with the different self-instructional materials. Self-instructional materials. That means the materials which you can understand yourself. No teacher is there. Only we are taking 5 to 7 classes. Rest of the things you are taking care of. You are grown up. The material is written. The simple reason is that it is not a book. It is not in book form. It is written in different way. In a communicative way. For example, when you go, it might have been written. Whenever when you go through this, you can understand you. So now it is just like what the teacher says in the classroom situation. My dear students, it has been written in that way. In invisible form, the teacher is not visible, but the tone is like that. So this is self-instructional material. Material will instruct you. You will instruct yourself. So therefore, the material written like that. So therefore, class learning in classroom. Similarly, socialization. For example, how to behave, how to talk, how to speak, how to say. So all these have been told by our parents. How to make namaskar, how to pray God, how to cooperate, how to respect your elders. Like that, socialization. For example, you have been greeting your colleagues, friends, relatives, like that. For example, you are greeting after a long time, you are meeting your friend. Now you are shaking the hand and you are telling, hello, good morning, how are you? Like that. There are many ways. Similar, and another function of communication, motivation. Communication fosters individual and community activities and motivate people to meet its goal. So therefore, motivation of the individual members of a society plays an important role. So whenever you want to get more information, you are motivated, you are inspired. Let me go and see. For example, you are a teacher, you are a student. I am a teacher, I was a teacher, I am retired. But when I am interested to know something about spiritualism, so if I came to know that Swami Mukundananda is preaching, so Swami Mukundananda is giving a sermon about life, about religion, you must have heard the different motivation speakers on spiritualism. For example, say Joya Kishori. There are many. Aniruddha Swami, Swami Bhagdev, like that. Bhageshwar Baba. So like that. Now you can listen to them. They are communicating about spiritualism. You can hear and you can get. If you are, and it motivates. Then education, definitely you can change your. What is education? Education is the manifestation of human behavior in a positive way. Education is the change of behavior from the undesirable direction to desirable direction. So therefore, I used to say, it is a question. Education is a question of transformation, change, transformation from animality to humanity. If we are human being, we had our animal qualities. Those animal qualities get reduced, and the more and more the animal quality gets reduced, the better the perspective of becoming a human being. When our animal quality gets reduced, that makes you the great human being. Just like your Dashiratnakar. Mora, Rama. Now he become Dashiratnakar, become Balmik, Uyunga. So after so many tapasya, 12 years like that. So therefore, education is a question of making dog into God. D-O-G, dog. G-O-D, opposite. D-O-G, dog, animal. Animality. Dog stands for animality. God stands for humanity. So like that is a kind of transformation. That is education. That kind of education, if you are educated, if I am educated, thanks to our teachers, thanks to not teacher, classroom teacher. I do not mean classroom teachers. Our parents are also our teachers. Our friends are teachers. those who have influenced your mindset and makes you something great. Your guru, they are gurus. In your Upanishad, there are 24 gurus it has been talked about. Even you can learn from grass. Even you can learn from crane. Even you can learn from small ant. What did you get from? What is the education from ant? Saving. So for saving, that is futuristic outlook. For saving, you have to take a lot of pain. Similarly, crane, bogo. What did you learn? बद्धता दृष्टि गोटे जगह that is attentive. बग केमि attentive है कि माछु धरुछ. Similarly, grass, submissiveness. You are going, I am going. तमे घास ऊपर गोड़ पकोच पाद पकोच चालू घास किछि कहू तुमको किने बाड़ी देला ए मते काई बाड़ी देला ए हाथ काई मदरे काई बाजिला. You are reacting. But grass has never complained that why you people are moving on me. Submissiveness. Similarly, when it has been well told in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, when the branches of a tree, are laden with fruits, that is what we call knowledge. Education means namrata. So like that. Anyhow. Then entertainment, you know entertainment, how to get happiness, something like that. So these are the different functions of communication. Then dimensions of communication. It has been well told here. What are dimensions? It is given in page 8, figure 12.5. Encoder, message, channel, target, receiver, purpose, teacher. So these are the different dimensions of your communication. For example, encoder. Somebody is encoding. What is encoding? It is a process through which the message initiated by the sender. So what is the process? The process, formal, informal, maybe EduSat, maybe picture. So this is the encoding process through which the message initiated by sender is converted into communication symbols such as word, pictures, gestures, like that. Then message, it comprises the content, that is what is being communicated, what you want to communicate. For example, you say, sir, I am not feeling well, I will not attend the class. That is the message. That means you will not attend the class because of your sickness. You are sick. Then channel, medium. Channel is the medium through which message is being transferred. Then receiver, target, to whom you are communicating. The teacher is communicating to students. The students are target. Target is the person or group to whom the message is sent. To whom you are sending the message, that is the target or receiver. Then what purpose? What for you are communicating? This is also another dimension. This denotation, this shows the impact of message, that is the kind of result. That means I will teach in such a way, what is the result? 100% for success, like that. Then another is a teacher or institutions are the sources. Teacher and students are the, teachers and institutions are the sources, curriculum the content, and the message students are receiving, and various teaching strategies like assignment or media transfer. So these are the different components of your communication. Now, how can you make the communication effective? Unless the communication is effective, particularly in the education management, then it will be problematic. Whatever the leader want to tell, if it is not well communicated, then it will not be understood properly by the workers. When it is misinterpreted, then it will affect the result. So that has been told. An effective management of communication process is required to make the organization successful. So therefore, the task of the teacher becomes, for example, if the teacher is teaching and the students did not understand, then it is a great failure. It is a waste of time. Therefore, we can say as a process, communication is definitely a process. As a process, it is also product. Product means result. As a process, communication has synonyms such as expressing feelings, conversing, speaking, corresponding, writing, listening, and sharing. So this is all about the communication. Then now, with this background, let us discuss the different types of communication. Maybe verbal, non-verbal, like that we'll discuss. For example, maybe it may be auto communication. Auto communication. That means you are communicating yourself. Sometimes you are asking yourself. Auto communication is the process, is referred to an intrapersonal communication. Intra means within. You are asking yourself. That is intra, not inter. Inter means among. Intra means within. Intrapersonal communication. Communication to self is termed as auto communication. Then another is your interpersonal communication. Among you are talking with your friends, the teacher is talking with the class. Communication between two persons, like that, or many persons. Group communication. When a teacher is talking to her class, it is an example of group communication. So therefore, next is communication within a system. Communication between multiple groups within organization. Multiple groups. For example, mathematics teacher one group, science teacher another group, English teacher another group, sports teacher another group, like that. Music teacher another group. So when communication between multiple groups within an organization, that is what we call communication within that is a system. Another is mass communication. Many people are communicated. For example, you are telling in the television, TV, and many people are observing. Sharing mass communication is the communication to larger population through popular media, through newspaper, radio broadcast, television, like that. Then another is meta communication. Meta communication is the process of communicating about communication. Communicating about communication. That means whatever you are communicating, you are telling direction. My dear students, listen to me. I am going to teach something about mathematics. Unless you give your attention to me, you cannot understand the mathematical concept which I will talk. That means you are going to communicate about mathematics. Say plus, minus, a fraction, something like that. About that mathematical concept, fraction, you are giving direction. You are communicating. So communication about communication. You are communicating about communication. So these are the different types of communication. Now, what are the different means of communication? How can you communicate? Either verbally or non-verbally. Already I have told you, communication can be verbal, speaking and signing, as well as non-verbal by using gesture, posture, body language, can be direct or face-to-face, or can be indirect. Indirect means using different electronic or non-electronic media of communication. That is indirect. Then verbal communication, your dialogue, like that. For effective communication, use of common language is a prerequisite. So your communication will be effective. You are using a language, whether Odia, mother tongue, or English, or Hindi, doesn't matter. But you should have mastery over that language. Whenever you have that mastery over that language, then you can make use of that language effectively. And when the language used is effective, then it will be communicating well. For example, sometimes we provide structure for language learning. I will give an example. We are all teachers. We want to know, we want our learners to know how to write an application in English or Odia or Hindi, something like that. For example, English. You are the English teacher. So now you give the formula. You give the structure like that to the headmaster, something like that, because you want to take leave to the headmaster. Subject leave. Sir, I am suffering from fever, so therefore I may be given 2 days leave. Like that. You are giving the structure, formula. Now, having had this, the students have been told that this is how you can write an application. But we do not say what are this is not all about the application. We say We have given the formula. Once a student has given an application to the headmaster. This is the application. Please listen to me. You will tell me, I will ask you, Dutti Krishna or Soumya. The application was like this to the headmaster. That school subject leave. Sir, I may be given 5 days leave as I am suffering from my brother's marriage ceremony. So you have given the formula: suffering from fever, suffering from cold, suffering from headache. So he was suffering from what? Brother's marriage ceremony. Now the headmaster could not understand, failed to understand. What is the meaning of this? This is because how it is not communicated properly. And the headmaster invited the student. Mr. Student, what is the what for you have applied? Is it that your brother is going to marry and your father is not thinking about your marriage? Are you getting jealous? Then the student said, no. Replied, no. Then what? I said, I have to do many works for my brother's marriage ceremony. So therefore, if it is like that, the application could have been something different. So therefore, the teacher should say, this is the process. But if the regions are something different, then communication through the application will be something different. Now, if you are attending to the brother marriage ceremony, then you could say, not suffering from. You would say, I have to, my elder brother is going to marry. For that marriage, I will help. My help is required. So, in order to help my family regarding the brother's marriage ceremony, I may be given leave. I may grant leave, something like that. So, therefore, language used to, my point is, language to be used for communication must be appropriate. Otherwise, it is mistaken. Another non-verbal communication, already I have told you, like your body language, like slight uplifting your eyebrows, shrug. What is the meaning of shrug? Raise shoulder, kandhaku tekiba, shoulder, like that. That means you do not want. So like that, these are the different symbolic. Similarly, we are using dove, some picture symbolic. For example, dove is the symbol that represents peace. Whenever you want peace, so make use of the picture of peace. Peace is the symbol of, dove is the symbol of peace. Then communication media. Whenever you are using, whenever you are communicating, you have to make use of media. That is your mass media. Is that media which is specifically conceived and designed to reach the message to larger audiences through nationwide radio, television network and mass circulation of news, either newspaper or your TV or radio broadcast. Therefore, medium, media is the plural form of medium. So therefore, that can be used. Now, page 13, role of communication in education management. Whenever you are managing the education situation as a leader, so you have to communicate. Otherwise, goal of the organization cannot be achieved. So what is the communication process can have impacts on awareness, opinion, informs as well as motivates. So therefore, let us discuss communication to raise awareness. So communication is important in making the functionaries in a system as well as other stakeholders aware of the problem. When you are told to do some work, you must know what is about the problem, how that problem can be solved, what are the different sources, like that. Then second is communication to influence opinion. Sometimes when you are working in the group, you have a negative opinion. You are not in a you say something in an undesirable way. So therefore, communication can be used to influence stakeholders' view on the selection of possible solution. There are many ways of solving problems. So possible solution you can impact. Therefore, information serves as a resource for skill development. Then third is communication to motivate in the education situation. motivation of the individual members of the system, like communication to foster the individual and group activities motivates people to meet their goal. For example, when the members are working, when the workers are working day and night to get the work finished, complete, so that the goal can be achieved. Sometimes you feel frustrated. Sometimes your tolerance, you do not have sustained tolerance. Sometimes you do not want to continue. So in that context, your leader, education manager comes forward. He said, no, it is possible. Why not? Yes, it can be possible. So now motivating. Then use of information for planning by education managers. Whenever you are planning something about the problem for the solution, then information can be used. For example, preparation of any plan. Whenever you are preparing the plan, you can discuss among yourself any problem regarding planning. You can communicate, you can share with your leader so that the leader can give direction. A comprehensive information management system which integrates all the information. So there are a variety of information. If all the information are blended, it becomes a comprehensive information, and you can take the stock of that comprehensive information situation. Now the question is, what are the indicators which can make your communication effective, something like that. Indicators furnish a summarized but relative picture of the present status of a system. So now, following are some of the common indicators used by management in education system to gauge the function of the system. That means, if the education system has to function effectively, then these indicators are necessary. And the leader must communicate that these are the different indicators which are available or not available in the education system. For example, physical infrastructure, building, something like laboratory, something like that, even playground, teachers, access, that means to what extent you can have the access to, that means you can make use of them. Then enrollment, retention rate, that means those who have taken, those who have been enrolled, taken admission, are they staying or they have left out? If they are staying, that is the retention rate is high. Then transition rate, the number of students who have taken, who have been admitted into a particular course, and those who are going to next course, what is the rate? We'll discuss in detail. Achievement of students, then achievement gap across various social groups, means boys, girls. Is the achievement of boys better than the achievement of girls? Are the students belonging to ST group doing better than the students belonging to SC group? Like that. Then funding equity, that means how the fund has been equitably distributed, something like that. So therefore, it is essential to state here that no single indicator is enough, but altogether they can provide a comprehensive picture to decide where to focus attention and research. That means whenever you are planning about your educational management, about your education institution, you have to take up all these indicators so that a comprehensive picture of information about your educational system we can have. Then types of indicators used in educational planning. So what are the basically input, output, something like that we can discuss. It is given, that is more important. Input indicators. That means what are you are putting in so that we can get something. For example, you want pakudi. So input is your besan, onion, oil, something, gas, something like that. Here, the input indicators of the system, means education system, of the system are broadly classified into three categories. There are three types of input indicators. Access indicator, personnel, people working, personnel indicators, and enrollment indicators. So all these three are under your input indicators. Now, what is access indicators? Access denotes the availability of schools or any other educational institutions and their facilities, which include building, playground, related facilities, safe drinking water, like that, safe disposal of waste, toilet, something like that, library, laboratory. Some of the input indicators of access in an education institution are percentage of habitation served. That means within 1 kilometer, already it has been told that easy walking distance means within 1 kilometer. This is the school will be established within 1 kilometer from the inhabitation, from the residence of each child. Percent of schools having building, etc. Percent of schools with drinking water. All these are under access, that is input indicators. Then another category of input indicator is your personnel, people working, teacher or something like that. For example, teacher people ratio. Teacher people ratio. Can any of you tell me what is the teacher people ratio suggested by RT, Right to Education Act,
Sir,
for the elementary, for the primary school?
primary 30:1.
But now, are you working, Preeti, in primary?
No, sir.
No. Now, if you make a survey, go to any primary school, find out whether for each 30 students, one teacher is there. For example, there are 180 students. Are there any 6 teachers? 30 means 6 teachers. If it is not, then it is violation. Anyhow, indicator. So therefore, for percent of teacher with minimum required qualification, percent of trained teachers, percent of teachers with in-service training, pre-service. There are 2 types of training: pre-service, before becoming a teacher, B.Ed or DLD. In-service, when you are working as a teacher for 5 years, 7 years, by that time knowledge is growing, knowledge is changed, many things come. So you must know as a teacher. So therefore, you know to know more and more about your subject, about something teaching, you can go for orientation training program in service. Percentage of post sanction for teachers. What is the sanctioned post? For example, sanctioned post and teachers are there posted. Another indicator is your, that input indicator is your enrollment indicator. The school is established for whom? For the students. They should take admission. They should enroll themselves. So now the enrollment ratio is the most commonly. So what is the this enrollment ratio gives the proportion of students enrolled in the school to the total age specific population. For example, the formula is net enrollment ratio rate is equal to total enrollment in grade 1 to 5. That is age is, if class 1 to 5 means age 6 to 11 in a particular nth year, means in a particular year. For nth year means for 2023, by total child population in the age group of 6 to 14 in that year. For example, you want to any year net enrollment ratio. Then, for example, for the year 2020, 2020 रे केते कोन हमर हला एनरोल रेशियो ना केते पिला 6 रु 11 थिले 2000 टोटल एनरोलमेंट केते एनरोल कले स्कूल ले गोटे ब्लॉक हे पारे कि गोटे कोटी पंचायत हे पारे for that particular year, year 2023, for example, by total number of students in that age group, सेही बयस केते पिला छथि एवं सेही बयस पिला भितर केते जन स्कूल जाय छथि, डिविजन करिवो into 100. That is your net enrollment rate. Is it clear? Any here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then this is all about your input indicator. Exam seta basic input indicator. One is 3 types. One is your access indicator, another is your personnel indicator, another is your enrollment indicator. Put together, this is input. एको तो नहीं हम पिलांग पढ़ेबा ना indicator. पाठ पढ़े के स्कूल थिले तो classroom थिले तो like that. Then process indicator. Second, what is all about? Students flow, that is the process of students movement from one grade to another. The process from class 1 to class 2, class 3, class 4, class process is another important indicator of the process of education system. Indicators of flow rates are promotion rate, repetition rate, or dropout. If, for example, the students are flowing or not flowing, for example, there is dropout. That means those who have taken admission, they have left. Therefore, there is more dropout. Promotion rate, you know, promotion rate shows the percent of students passing the grade to the total number of students. Now, have you your material with you? Page 16. ए बही देख तो मटेरियल देखतो तो ना नहीं?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा.
Yes, sir.
Page 16. Page 16. The example is given. A promotion rate. For example, in class 1, 40 students, 40 students were enrolled and 35 were promoted to class 2. Class 1 ले 40 admission कले, किंतु पास कला को पास कले कौन 35. Hence promotion rate will be कितने? दिया इच्छ.
84.5%.
84.5%.
भूल. अभी क्या हल्लो? 35 by 40 हल्लो कितने उच्च? এটা হবে 87.5, wrongly printed. So 35 by 70 into 100, that is 87.5%. Anyhow, from class 1 to class 2, this is your promotion rate and pass rate. Repetition rate, come on, class 1 repeat korte di 13 like that. Repetition rate, this is your process. Flow is obstacle. Repetition rate is the percentage of students who repeat the same grade to the total number of students enrolled in the grade in the base year. Example is given. For example, in class 10, in a school, out of 50 students, 10 students were repeated. That means 80% promotion, 80% flow, 20% repeated. So the repetition rate in that class X is will be 20. I mean, 20 जन पिला 100 जन 20 जन पिला बा 10 जन 2 जन पिला फेल होइछन्ते से रिपीट कले सेही क्लास रे रहिबे. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then dropout rate. What is dropout? It is known as premature withdrawal of a child from the course. For example, you have taken admission in class 1. What is the course to be completed? Elementary. Nowadays it is elementary. Class 8. In my time it was class 7. You have taken admission in class 1. You have promoted to class 2, class 3, class 4, in class 5. In class 6 you are not going to school. So that is your dropout. You are dropping out. You are not going to school in class 5 or at class 6. Dropout rate gives the percent of students who leave the system without completing grade. So therefore, the formula is total enrollment in grade 1 in a particular year. Example 2004 minus total enrollment in grade 5 in 2008. Kaiki na class 1 la admission kala pilati 2004, class 2 5, class 3 5 6 7 8 तने 5 बेलू को सही पिलाटी 2 पिलाटी क्लास 1 ले 2004 रे एडमिशन कला से 2005 को जीवा कथा कोन ना 2008 को जीवा क्लास 5 की माइनस कर दबो एवं टोटल एनरोलमेंट इन क्लास 1 2004 रे थिला into 100, that gives you the dropout rate. The example is given. 100 students enrolled in class 1 in 2004. Good example je तुम नहीं पता 10 नहीं पता 15 नहीं परिवो in a primary school, and 75 students were enrolled in class 5 in 2008 after 5 years. Here the dropout rate is 100 minus 75 by 100 into 100, 25%. That means the dropout rate is 25%. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, and another process indicator is your transition rate. So what is the transition rate? The transition is the percentage of students who are promoted to the first grade of the next level, primary level or secondary level. you have taken admission in class 1 up to class 7, class 6, like that. Say upper primary, to the total number of students enrolled in the final grade of this level of education in the original year. So we can say transition rate is the rate at which a system changes from one state to another state. It is, or we can say it is the percentage of students moving from one level of education to the next. So this is transition. That means primary level to secondary level to college level, higher secondary level to percent, like that. Then another is your something other indicators are number of working days in the school, 180 days, something like that. I don't average attendance of the students, how many days the student is attending classes, average attendance of teachers, average number of hours spent every day, about 6 hours. So 10 to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, so 6 hours on this in school. So this is all about process indicator. So input indicator, process indicator, then output indicator, result, performance. Output indicators with the shift in focus on quality of learning, that achievement of quality. Quality of learning from enrollment and access. The education leaders are now focusing on what the students are learning and how much they are learning. So learning achievement, qualitative learning, not only access and access, not only enrollment, but also success. Access versus success. Success means school is established, teachers are there, physical facilities are there, input process indicators are there, facilities are there. If the result is not expected is not to our expected level, then what is the need of all this? So therefore, quality learning. Therefore, some of the common indicators of the quality of education at the school level are given here. One is graduation rate. Graduation rate. What is the graduation rate? What does it mean? It is the graduation rate indicates how many students finish their degrees in a timely manner upon the enrollment. That means you have taken admission into a particular course. Here graduation doesn't mean only +3, also primary. You have taken admission into a particular course, particular degree, particular, and how many of them successfully complete? 100 have taken admission, for example, in a particular year, and only 35 are successfully completing. That means 65% is not completing. So therefore, that is graduation rate. That talks about the quality of your learning. That means the teaching is not effective. Therefore, a large number of students could not complete. Then percentage of first divisioners, A grade, O grade, something. Wastage, stagnation, failure. Wastage means the students are not attending classes. Stagnation means repetition. Achievement gap across social groups, boys, girls, SC, ST, rural, or something like that. Similarly, your another group of physical handicap, not handicap. Similarly, there is a group of students, they belong to nomad groups, moving from one place to another, like that. You can also take all these into account so that we can know whether the quality of education is good or not. Now, the last portion of this first unit is enhancing communication skills for education management. So by this time, you must have experienced how communications is important. You must be skillful. You means as a teacher, because the teacher is also a leader, not a political leader. The teacher is an academic leader. The headmaster is a leader of the group, leader of the organization. So therefore, each leader must communicate effectively, so that, for example, somebody may ask you, Mr. Teacher, what are the problems in your school for which there is more repetition? Now you can say the process indicator, you can communicate. So this is about the problem related to process indicator. This is or something problem related to process indicator, either input problem, input indicator problem related to process, something like that. So you have to effectively communicate. Sometimes the DO or the high school teachers ask you, what is the reason for which there is zero performance? Or sometimes your BO can ask the primary teacher, why are the students, for example, 2 days back, it was class. It happens in somewhere in Mayurbhanj district. The students, elementary students, those who are residing in the hostel, residential school, they walk for 30 kilometers and to meet the collector. On the way, and the ADM could meet with them, and they complain that in our school this is not happening, this is not happening. We are not giving good food. Our toilets are not properly taken care of. So these are complaints. So these are the process input problems. So therefore, as a leader, you must communicate your problems. So therefore, you must be skillful. And effective communication skills are essential for education management because it is important in creating better teaching, learning, coordinating, counseling, evaluation, and supervision situation. In all these situations, for example, you are supervising. The headmaster is supervising the class of a teacher. Why? Most of the students have complained against that teacher. So now you are visiting and you are taking care of the class. Now you are asking, Mr. Teacher, after observation, after supervision, you can ask not in front of others. You can invite the teacher to the headmaster room. Now, Mr. Teacher, I have observed lesson. The students are complaining and they are complaining that is right. Why not you come prepared? Why not you give example? Why not you write on the blackboard? Why not you explain? You are not doing all this. You are giving a speech. Classroom teaching is not a question of giving speech. You must explain. So you are trying to improve the situation, quality of education. So therefore, you must communicate with a proper tone, with a proper, by using proper language. You should not get irritated. You can persuade the teacher. My dear teacher, you are a teacher and you are experienced. Where is the problem? Like that. So effective communication occurs only if the receiver understands the exact information or idea that the sender intended to transmit. You are the leader. You want to say something. Who is the receiver? Might be student, might be the teacher. If the receiver does not understand what you exactly tell, then nothing will happen. So you must communicate very effectively. Therefore, the receiver or the students may not understand the message. If it is not communicated effectively, the student cannot understand. When you are teaching, sometimes the teacher is very speedy. The pace is very high. The student cannot catch. The student repeatedly requests the teacher, sir, be slow. Write some important point on the blackboard. You are not doing all this. So therefore, we fail to understand. So therefore, if you are an effective communicator, then as a teacher, you can develop the skills how to communicate effectively. Therefore, it has been good communicators of spend more time listening than talking. Don't talk much. Listen to the students. If you are a teacher, if the students say that whatever you have communicated, whatever you have taught, whatever messages have been given by you, we have failed to understand. Listen, have a patience. But without listening, you go on talking. Hey, my dear student, listen to me. No. This is the problem with the students. You must wait. Give wait time. Then let the other speak. Let the other speaker talks. Other speaker means the students, colleagues, like that. Do not finish the sentence of others. Do not finish the sentence of others. Somebody telling, before telling the sentence, you no, sit down, stop. No, let him complete what he wants to say. Do not answer questions with questions. When the students say, sir, which is the capital of say Odisha, for example, you say, what could be the capital? He is asking a question. then again you are giving the question. So answer is required. Question should not be given another question. When you say, sir, what is the necessity of AR? The student asks, sir, what is the necessity of AR? What is the relevance of AR? Then you say, do you think that AR is relevant? Another you tell, AR is relevant because of the reasons. Then I'm aware of their biases. Sometimes the teacher is having biases. The student might have biases, so you must be careful about the biases. And not preoccupied with their own thoughts when others talk. When somebody is talking, when others are talking, you must be knowing that what others are talking. Let me listen to them. Do not dominate the conversation. Sometimes, as a leader, you said you do not allow the other to talk. No, you must allow the others to talk and listen. Then you can have better solution to the problem. Provide feedback, but does not interrupt instantly. So provide feedback so that something can happen. Analyze by looking at all levels of relevant factor. That means if you want that your organizational goal can be achieved, so look all the factors to the situations. So with these words, I can say the first unit, that is unit 12 is complete. Then let us come to unit 13, organizational communication. By this time, we have all in a threadbare manner, we have discussed what is communication, what are different types of communication, how can you make the communication effective, what is the relevance of communication in education management, something like that. Now, let us discuss organizational communication. That means when you are working in an organization, you have to communicate effectively. Therefore, communication maintains and animates life. What is animate? What is the meaning of animate? Animate means give life. So sometimes, for example, you are feeling frustrated, and if a rishi or if a spiritual guru you meet, and he can talk, he can mesmerize you. He can mesmerize you, and you then feel, no, I will not commit suicide. I am not feeling like this, so I can do my thing. So like that. And animate life. It is the motor and expression of social activity and civilization. So motor means your kinetic, your hand, use of hands, use of legs, expression of social activities, like that. Then the people, because the people are involved in the organization, the people involved in the organization activities would not be aware of the organization objective. You are working, but when somebody will, for example, you are working and somebody may ask you, are you working? Now, yes. Now, what for? What is the objective? If you fail to tell, then it is meaningless. So, therefore, objective. So, we can say the people involved in the organization would not know what their role and response if the communication is not effective. If you communicate, then we can know. The organization managers or leaders would not be able to direct a guide. Unless you are communicating, they will not do their work. They will not be able to be guided. The changes effected in the organization would not be communicated. What are the changes going on in the school or colleges or in the organization? How can your workers know? How can your teachers know? How can the student know? You have to communicate. So therefore, Sprague observed that most of the conflicts in business are not basic. Conflict is not basic, but are caused by misunderstood motive. Sometimes we have misunderstanding, therefore conflict is there. And ignorance of fact. We do not know about the fact. For example, Janani Suraksha, one of the government programs. How many mothers know what is about the program? We must inform them. Proper communication between interested parties reduces the points of friction and minimizes those that inevitably arise. So the more you communicate, the better is the. Unless you are communicating effectively, there is friction. He will tell something. Oh, she communicate koni. Kaise paisa mila? Hey, paisa khai deju. Something goes on like that. Accordingly, by effective and efficient communication, the organization takes the employees into confidence. So एति पैसा मिलला हमें या खर्च ला बाकी एति पैसा कौन करे कोंतु. You are clear? So people will take you confidence. So therefore, according to Bernard, there are 7 factors of communication which are function of objective authority. If you want to be a proper authority or leader who will be accepted by many people, objective means everybody will like you. Then what are the 7 factors? The channels of communication must be clearly set and the same should be known to all. So what are the channels through which you are communicating? Let others know. I mean, sometimes we say, ओडिया लोक माछ खोइबे आम कहती ना ओडिया लोक माछ खाइबा देबे किंतु माछ कोउट आइला कहबेनी. What is source? Not. We must tell. Every organization member should be reached by some channel of communication. So they must be able to reach the communication channel. The channel of communication should be as direct as possible. That means it is easy on the part of the worker to reach. There should be no blockage in the channel. There no obstruction. The communicator should be highly skilled in the art of communication. Definitely. There is a proverb. Kohi janle katha sundara, bandi janle matha sundara. That means if you can talk, so it is an art. The people will be motivated. The channel of communication should be constantly kept open, not closed, open. It is just like an open book. Let everyone know. There is nothing to be closed. No confidentiality. There should be authentication of every communication. Whatever is communicated, it must be appropriate, objective, not biased, authentic, genuine. Then communication process. Already I have told you, one is sender, another encoder, another message, channel, decoding, receiver. For example, in the classroom situation, the teacher is the sender. Then after sending, it is encoded, processed through which the message initiated by the sender is converted into communication. For example, you are giving a telephonic call. You are giving a telephonic call. Through the wire it goes, or through the air it goes. Now it does not go like तमे जहा को तो मु खाई नाही को मु खाई ना जाउछ आ भितरे से जीव कोन ना through certain words, symbols are there. For example, you must have known that in computer what is the symbol? Only 0. So like that, then RAM can make it. Then message is going on, channel process means decoding is the process through which the symbol in the message are sent, are translated into a form that can be understood. Whatever is gone, that is gone in a symbolic way. When you receive, it is transformed into word form, you can understand. That is decoding. So decoding depends upon many factors: familiarity with the decoding system, efficiency of the sender, efficiency of the receiver, then situational and contextual factors, the channel used. Then if it is there, then it will be received by the receiver. Another is response. When it is properly received, then you can react. When the receiver receives and accepts the message of communication, response involves compliance with it, and that means compliance means you can do. When you have received, when you are told something and you have received this message, instruction, information, then accordingly you are doing and acting upon. Another is feedback. In the context of response, it has been told that empathy is more important. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoe. That means what you feel, I must feel like that, so that communication can be effective. Similarly, congruence. Congruency is the ability of the encoder and decoder to match their tone and tenor, gesture, posture with other. That means what is told by the sender, if the receiver feels like that, then it is congruency, matching. Then feedback. The link in the organizational communication process is the feedback. The link. How are you getting the information? By linking. It determines whether the message has been clearly understood by the receiver as intended by the sender. The sender is sending the message. If the receiver does not understand that, then there is a problem that it is not properly the feedback. So feedback is an essential component to maintain the continuity of the communication. Through feedback, we can maintain the communication channel, communication system continuity. Feedback tells the source how the receiver has interpreted the message. So through feedback, for example, the feedback is the sender has sent the message and the receiver has failed to understand. And when the receiver asks, when the sender asks, what does it mean? And you are unable to tell the answer. That means you have not understood. So this is feedback, knowledge of result. Maybe positive feedback, maybe negative feedback. For example, the kind of feedback which conveys lack of understanding is called negative. When you do not understand, negative. When you understand, positive feedback indicates that the receiver has understood. So that is more important. If the communication is effective, if the leader is if the leader is using the skills of communication properly, then it will lead to positive feedback, like that. Then mode of organization communication. So when you are working in the organization, you have to communicate. There is no way out. You have to communicate. How can you communicate? Either in the oral form, speaking something. So oral form of communication, the most common form of organized communication. That means 50. It has been told that it has been seen that in an organization setting, many employees spend more than 50% of their time in some form of oral communication. 50% time orally. In this form of communication, both the parties mean sender and receiver, exchange their communication through oral words, either through face-to-face mode or through telephone or intercom system. What are the advantages of oral communication? Easy to communicate because you are using some language. You can communicate easily. Effective communication. You can effectively communicate direct. It conveys likes and dislikes, personal warmth, friendliness of this. And for example, somebody is communicating orally through the television, and when you are listening, something the message given by the expert in the television, you have any doubt. How can you clarify your doubt? There is no warmth, something like that. So, but when face to face, teacher is there in the classroom situation, and students are in the classroom situation. So whenever any problem is there, you can directly contact the teacher. Quick feedback immediately if there is some problem. If the receiver has failed to understand what has been given by the sender, what has been informed by the sender, immediately you can ask, sir, what is this? I could not understand. Then disadvantage, lack of proof. So there is no proof. You are telling something from the mind, from some of your own. So the student says, sir, we do not believe all this. Either any proof, written, something like that. Then lack of authenticity. How can we believe that this is correct? This is genuine. So you must show the authenticity. Loss in transmission. So you say something, the students understand something. So your communication loss is that. So this has been told. Loss in transmission. Oral communication is not spontaneous, and if the message is lengthy and is to be conveyed to a distant destination, it cannot be conveyed effectively. If you go on talking for a long time and it is conveyed to a distant destination, that means distant destination means the students, your students are not nearby you, they are far away. Then there is the process of loss in transmission. This is one form of communication, that is oral. Then another is written form. Written communication implies any communication conveyed in a written form for the effective and efficient functioning of organization. So effective communication may be in the form of, what are the effective communications? May be circular. Government gives circular. Instruction, your school gives instruction, and sometimes the students you are required not to say something about the outsiders. You should come the time at 10. You should attend the classes regularly. Before attending classes, you must go for prayer class. Something instruction. Similarly, whenever you are organizing an excursion, instructions are given at what time it will come, how much money you have to deposit, who are the parent, who are the personnel who will be helping you, something like that. Which place you are going, manuals, letters, memos, notes, bulletins, house magazines, that we call wall magazine, house magazines, reports, etc. All these are your written communication. So what are the advantages of written communication? Permanent record. Because once it is written permanent record, it will become, it will last long. For example, Pothi, in Talapatra lekha hai palm. Now it is there, Madra Panji, like that. Report, written communication. Manu Sanghita, even our constitution, Indian constitution, is written as an authentic source. Yes. When somebody say you are telling like this, why should I believe? Now this is the source. For example, you told that Mr. Narendra Modi is our Prime Minister. Now why should I believe? Now this is, you just see, this is the written part. Now less time consuming, and it will take less time because written things are there. You can read. Disadvantages: lack of confidentiality. Sometimes somebody, there is written proof, but now the question is the man who has written, what is his we call it internal validity or external validity. What is his qualification? How much biasness he has, or how is not he biased, fall upon biases, how qualified he is, what kind of mental set he has. For example, it is sometimes complained, whenever you are writing any history book on as a Hindu writer, you are a Hindu writer, you are writing something about Muslim rulers, Mughal period. So if you are biased, oh, they are Muslims, let me write against them. Those who are the readers, so that is a problem, because it is biased, it is not authentic. Then costly. Whenever you go on printing something like that, it will be costly. Then creates formality in the organized setup, formality, how to come, where to keep, like that. It has been seen that written communication becomes a formal means, and it creates excessive formality in the personal relationship, which results in hampering efficiency. That means whenever you are told that go through that book, you cannot have your own opinion, tell what is written, something like formal. Then non-verbal communication. So either oral communication or a written communication. Another form of communication is your non-verbal communication. That means your gesture, posture, symbol. Non-verbal communication plays a pivotal important role in both organizational and non-organizational setting. Either in the organization or not in the organization, but maybe in a boss. You are working, you are going in a boss. That is not organization. You are talking. According to the authentic source, only 7% of the meaning in a face-to-face situation is derived from the word symbol, 38% from the voice tone and inflection. Inflection means rise and fall of voice. 55% from body movement, that's non-verbal. That means we can get information through 55%, the source said. And particularly facial expression and gesture. Through facial expression, sometimes you are using facial expression like your eye contact, like your crossing your eyes, like your making your face pale, something like that. Hence, we may conclude that 93% of the meaning in face-to-face communication is communicated. That is non-verbal. So we can say like that. Hence, these things convey meaning something more effective than words, non-verbal. Tipkins and McCutter have categorized facial expression like interest, excitement, enjoyment, joy, surprise, startle, asturja. distress, anguish, fear, terror, shame, humiliation, contempt, disgust, anger, rage. So these are the different forms of facial expressions which can be used for your communication, making communication effective. And another is your looking at the role of non-verbal communication, a new academic study of body movements that is known as kinetic body movement. Kinetic. Kinetics reflect to the study of gestures, facial expressions, other movements of the body to communicate meanings. We are not using the words, language to communicate. Also, non-verbally, that is verbal way. Non-verbally, you are using your facial. For example, you are nodding your head. The student has answered. You are nodding your hand. That means the student understands, oh, this is right. When the student has given the wrong answer, you are doing like this. No, no, no. For example, when the student has answered, when you have told the student, please stand up and tell the answer, the student has given the answer by standing up. Then you want to allow the student, after giving answer, sit down. Now you are using the hand down. Then you are not telling that please stand up. You are using the hand like that, like that. So handshake, something like that. So all these are your non-verbal communication. Then another is your communication network. That network means communication network or channel of communication is the path. This is the common path. How it comes? Path through which information flows throughout the organization. That means from which source the information has come. If the information has come through a defective communication network, then it goes wrong. For example, in a university, a letter addressed by the vice chancellor, a circular issued by the administrative officer about the administrative rules, regulations, in a formal communication is a formal communication, and information given to the students, inform other students. For example, information is given to a student, that student is given to another one. So this is how this analysis is going on. Now there is a comparison between formal and informal communication is there. You can understand. No, there is no further discussion. Then formal channels of communication. So what are the formal channels of communication? Formal channels of communication are systems designed by the organization to communicate who should talk, to whom, who talking, to whom, why. So now it is given. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 formal channels of communication. One is your single chain. You just see A. Your picture A, single chain. From one to left, from bottom to top. So single chain communication channel is an example of bureaucratic setup as indicated in figure 2.2a. Bureaucratic, that means the secretary says, the IS commissioner, the education commissioner says, then it comes to the director, direct to the headmaster, some collector, something. This type of network exists between the superior and the subordinates. Communication in this setup flows both ways, and that is your downward or upward through each successive hierarchical level. This is one way of communication. Another is wheel network, B. It is given as indicated in figure 2.2b. The superior in this case acts as a hub of the wheel, and all the subordinates under the superior communication. That means headmaster is there, all the teachers are listening to him. In this channel, there may be the problem of coordination. Yes, there are many people, 10 to 15 teachers are there, headmaster is there, he is the hub. So there is a problem of coordination. Another is circular network, 2.2c picture. Circular network is found in autonomous work group indicated in figure 2.3. The members of the group interact with adjoining members. That means you are near to me, I am joining. You are near to him. That means nearby. We are joining. We are communicating. Then free flow network. This type of communication network is mostly found in task force, where each of the members can communicate freely without others. That means if you want to talk with me, you can. So there is opportunity where everybody is free to talk with among themselves. Typical, there is no leader. Inverted V, that is your last. E, inverted, just like Viparita V, inverted. In inverted V, communication network, in inverted V communication network, subordinate is allowed to communicate with his or her immediate superior. For example, you are a teacher, I am a teacher, he is a teacher. As a teacher, I can directly communicate with headmaster or with the V or D or something like that. So therefore, in view of the above presentation, it has been seen that each of the aforesaid communication, as we have talked about 5 types of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of communication network, they have their own significance. You can use them. Then this is about your formal channels of communication. Another is your informal communication. Informal communication. Informal communication arises outside the formal channels and it is known as grapevine. पेंथा जी अंगूर पेंथा लता लगी थो कहते भाई मान लता अंगूर गछ लतार अंगूर लगी था. So informal communication takes place due to individual needs of the members of an organization. Whenever you have need, you can meet the headmaster, you can meet the leader. If you do not, if there is no need, why should you? Grapevine network, it has been found that grapevine is active in almost all the organization and follow certain patterns of communication which are discussed below. So how that grapevine, that means ଯେମିତି ଗଛରେ ଅଙ୍ଗୁର ପତ୍ର କେତେ ଅଙ୍ଗୁର ଲାଗି ଲାଗି ଥିବେ ନା. So similarly headmaster ଅଛି ତା ଚାରିପଟେ କେତେ ଜଣ ଅଙ୍ଗୁର ମାନେ teacher ଅଛନ୍ତି. ତମର ଇଚ୍ଛା ହେଲେ ତମେ, if there is problem for this teacher, he can meet directly. If I have no problem, why should I go to the headmaster, leader? One is, that is grapevine, single strand. In a single strand network, the people communicate with others through intervening persons. Now, first one, single strand. That means somebody will intervene. Through that man you can talk. Gossip. In a gossip network, people communicate with everyone. So you like anyone, you can gossip. Probability. In a probability network, people communicate randomly with others. Randomly, there is no selection. If you like this man, you can communicate. Cluster. In a cluster, last one. In a cluster chain, a person communicates the information with only those whom he or she trusts or a few select. That means if I trust you, if I take you into my confidence, there are, for example, in the group, in the organization, there are many workers, there are many teachers in the school. I believe that the teacher B or teacher C, then I can communicate with that, otherwise not. Then another is your direction of flow of communication. That means how can the flow come, either downward or upward? Downward communication. In downward communication in an organization, the message flows from the superior either in the same line of command or in a different. That means from the superior, the information comes or the communication comes. So there may be several types of downward communication. For example, guidelines or instruction related to job. So the head says, what are the guidelines? What are the requirements of job? Policy, procedure, direction to perform, feedback about the performance of subordinates. For example, the headmaster will say, out of my colleagues, 7 colleagues, that colleague has done better. This colleague is not sincere, something like that. Follow up for motivation. So now, those who are not doing well, they should be motivated how to do work better. That is downward. Then another is your upward communication, opposite of downward. Upward communication is generally encouraged by the organization in order to involve lower hierarchy level. Upward communication, that means those who are at the bottom, top and bottom, they should be provided opportunity so that they can communicate with the higher authorities. Upward communication originates at the lower level of the employment hierarchy and communicates upward through the line or section officer, administrative officer, director. You cannot go directly through different people. So therefore, the philosophy of upward communication is that everybody is capable by generating thought and ideas. So everybody has the capacity to generate ideas or messages. And then lateral communication. That means in the same line, when employees on the same level in the organization, for example, you are teachers one level, clerks another level, peons another level, student another level. When the employees on the same level in the organization communicate between themselves or among themselves, the communication taking place is called lateral communication. That means same level of employees, they must communicate among themselves so they can communicate to the head after talking. So this is all about your unit 13. The last unit of the block 4 is your effective communication approaches, unit 14. So by this, if you just recall the whole of our discussion, communication is essential for making the organization effective. If the organization is functioning effectively, then the goals will be achieved. So therefore, communication is important. There is a vital role. So communication skills are very much essential for the leader or organizational leader for the management of the education institution. Now, what approaches can be adopted? What approaches can be adopted by the educational administrator or educational leader so that they can communicate effectively? This has been well told in unit 14. For example, estimate the amount of time you are working as a teacher. Please find out how much time you are using in teaching. Those who are teaching, discussion with your head or department head, discussion with your students, conversation with colleagues, giving instruction to your subordinate staff, giving feedback to your management, staff meeting, participating in seminar conference, coordinating events at the institution, compose letters, emails, telephonic conversation, redressing grievances, if there is problem of the student, something, how much time you are spending, then hospitality to guests, other activity. So these are the different activities, mostly. This is hypothetical. Most of the activities we find in the organization. You are a worker, maybe teacher, something, or head leader. How much time you are spending on teaching, discussing, telephonic recall, redressing the problems, like that. So all these activities are nothing but a kind of communication. So all these activities involve communication in one form or the other. So these are the different examples of communication. Now, if these communications are not effective, then the organization cannot work properly. So therefore, communication should be effective. According to Barker, it has been given page 39. According to Barker, communication is a process in which interrelated or independent groups of elements work together as a whole to achieve the desired outcome goal. Always the end product of organization is achievement of goal. That goal can be achieved if the communication is effective in the group. Therefore, here in this definition, communication is considered as a process. So this is similarly, I have already told you, communication is from Oxford Dictionary. Communicate means to transmit by speaking or writing, pass on, convey information, impart non-verbally, share a feeling or understanding, like that. Already I have told you that is not to be discussed. So Sheila can define communication as the means by which we transfer ideas or information. That means a means is required to share your ideas, to transfer what you think to others, so that let others know what you are thinking. Therefore, this is what does communication mean. Let us come to the approaches to communication. Researchers have shown that 85% of this is what the research said, 85% of a person's success in one's career depends on relational skill. That means the ability, skill means ability to make relation to other workers in your group, in your organization. For example, you are a teacher, there are other teachers, maybe 5, 7. How you are maintaining your relationship? How can you maintain a relationship? Using communication, language, behavior, like that. So therefore, Stephen Covey, in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, has asserted that communication is the most important skill in life. So this is what he says. Yes, definitely. There is no two viewpoints. The more you are communicative, the better you are understood, and vice versa. Similarly, Thomas Faranda, the book is Uncommon Sense Leadership Principle to Grow Your Business Profitably, maintain that nothing is more important to a leader than effective communication skills. You cannot become a leader unless you are a good communicator. If you do not have communication skills, you cannot become a leader. Therefore, now it is, you may think that what is effectiveness? So effectiveness is defined as the doing things right. Doing things right. Thus, it is very clear that to be effective, one needs to be skillful communicator. So communication proceeds more smoothly and fruitfully when effective communication approaches are applied. If your approach which you are adopting for communication is effective, then what you want to communicate will be communicated properly. Therefore, some of those approaches are being discussed. Now, what are the approaches we can discuss? Number 1, always indulge in constructive communication. Whenever you are communicating, don't talk nonsense. Don't discuss with family matters. Don't discuss about family matters. So constructive communication build upon the morale of the receiver. Whenever you are talking something important, then the teacher will feel yes, something great. Their morale, that they will be strengthened. It builds positive relationship and spirit of teamwork. Otherwise not. Second is, this is one of the approaches for effective communication. Second is, try to build bridges. Gap is there, you must make a bridge to combine. In order to build a bridge, the best way is to join two halves. This is one half, this is one half. For example, one group, two group, they have difference of opinion. So through communication. Similarly, while interacting with somebody in a meeting, discussion, presentation, see yourself as being engaged in building the bridge. In this case, bridge will be productive working. So what is bridge? Through your productive working relationship. Your relationship is through working. So therefore, you can create a relationship so that the gap, the two halves can be joined together. Build rapport. What is rapport? To make communication effective, rapport building is essential. Rapport building is nothing but creating a sense of connectedness. Sense of connectedness. For example, whenever you are going to teach in your class, before teaching, you will teach. To begin with teaching, have a rapport with the students. Get connected. Do some warm-up sessions, warm-up activities. Say something about yourself, about the class, about the topic, something like that. Then you can start in a formal way. Rapport facilitates communication. People generally do not open up with the rapport. So therefore, you must get connected. So the more you are connected, the more you are understood, the more the receiver will attentive. Then to build your rapport, you have to expand your conversational style. So how can you make your report? I have seen, this is my personal experience, most of the heads, they hesitate to interact with the colleague. They feel very grave. They do not go to class. If you do not go, you are the headmaster, headmistress. But let your children know this man is our headmaster. You can go and directly contact, get connected. You take some classes. So therefore, this will help to create a sense of connectedness. Then another is don't label, avoid labeling. Sometimes we label, eta michwata, he is not trustworthy, eta amuk sa padela. Don't label. Labeling is a form of typecasting or creating prejudice towards someone. Labeling affects how you think about a person, which in turn affects how you communicate with himself. For example, if a person is labeled as troubleshooter, oh, she is a troubleshooter, so that is, then communication will be affected. Then exhibit understanding and cooperative behavior. If you want to communicate effectively, as it is said, that is saying, as you sow, so you reap. If you are communicative, people will listen to you, people will be inspired, they will be motivated, otherwise not. Some of the points one has to remember how to make communication effective. One is create trust in others. Let the people believe that you are the person, you are the true leader. Whatever you say something great. So therefore, you are to be believed. So faith and confidence in somebody create trust. The feeling that you can rely and depend upon the person without any hitch. Therefore, when people trust you, you are inclined to be trustworthy, because my colleagues are believing me, my colleagues are taking me into confidence, so I am confidential. Remember, trust can be created only when you are truthful constantly means repeatedly. So not that today you are speaking lie, tomorrow you are speaking truth. No, you don't like that. You should be truthful always. In a rapport building with your students or team members, it is very important. That means either for the students or for your colleagues, you must be truthful or you must create rapport. Another is create commonality. Common element, commonality. While communicating, we try to identify ourselves with others. When we are communicating, we identify with others. Oh, I am just like you are just like me, like that. More commonality you find with another person, more comfortable you are in communicating with that, and this will help in building an effective. Oh, you are talking like that headmaster. He's talking like me. He's speaking like me. He's doing like me. He's sincere like me. So then you have more commonality. Then another is your customize your communication. Customize your communication. What does it mean? To customize something means to make it specially for a person. It is for you. Sometimes when you go to sometimes you go to the shop, then that man can say, oh, this dress is meant for you. This food is meant for you. This is customized, especially meant for you. For example, you might have seen salesperson trying to convince each customer, saying that the product is especially made for you only, sir. So they convince you. You can customize your communication by adapting your mode of communication with the mode which the other person prefer. That means what they prefer, you can, yes, this is how I am communicating. You prefer, I am communicating like that. There is Hindi film song. Tum din ko agar raat ko, you can see it again. Then another is your gain respect. So customizing the communication is also build trust. So customization, you are near to the workers, then trust will be there. Then gain respect. So how can you gain respect? You will. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
On.
Yes, sir.
Gain respect. You will agree with me that if you do not respect a person, you tend to be callous in your approach. So therefore, how can you respect, gain respect, create credibility for yourself, develop composure in your gesture? What is composure? State of being calm and quiet. Don't talk much. Don't get irritated. Be quiet. Be polite in your behavior. That is, develop composure in your gesture. Incorporate constructive comments in your conversation. Whenever a teacher comes to you, there are a lot of complaints. For example, there are a lot of complaints against the teacher. When the teacher comes to you, don't get angry, don't get irritated. You can say in a cool mind, oh, okay, sit down. You can say, my teacher, you are a teacher, why not you teach like this? You can do all. I have confidence. So I feel that you will not frustrated me. You can go on teaching like this. You refer to these books. What is your problem? Like that you can. And then gear to the level of readiness. Interact according to the level of the receiver. As I was telling you, when Vivekananda was asked who is a good teacher, he replied, Swami Vivekananda said, a good teacher is he or she who comes down to the level of students. So when you are teaching, for example, you are very junior, you are MA, MPhil, PhD, you are working as a teacher, but if you teach and at the high level, the students will not understand. So come down to their level. So interact according to the level of the receiver. For example, if you are speaking in English with a person who cannot converse in English, so she will feel uncomfortable, or he will feel. So speak, use the language which the receiver is well conversant, like that. Then another is your carefully follow the intent and interpretation. What you say is interpreted in something else. What she says, you are interpreting in, for example, ଜଣେ କହିବ ଲେଡି ଜଣେ ଆସି କହିବ ଆଜ୍ଞା ମୋ ପାଣି ଗ୍ରହଣ କରନ୍ତୁ, ଏଟା ମିନିଂ ଅଲଗା। ପାଣି ଗ୍ରହଣ ମାନେ ବାହାନ୍ତୁ, ହାତ ମାନେ ମ୍ୟାରେଜ। ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆପଣ ପାଣି ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରହଣ କର, ନା ଚାଲନ୍ତୁ ବାହାରେ ରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ମ୍ୟାରେଜ କରିବା। ନା ନା ମୁଁ ଆପଣ କହିଲେ ପାଣି, ନା ଏଠି ପାଣି ଗ୍ରହଣ ମାନେ ପାଣି ନୁହଁ, ୱାଟର ନୁହଁ। ସିମିଲାରଲି ମୁଣ୍ଡ ଖଟେଇବା, ଖଟ ମୁଣ୍ଡେଇବା କଣ ସମାନ ଥିଙ୍ଗ? ମୁଣ୍ଡ ଖଟେଇବା, you are using brain to do something, to solve something. ମୁଣ୍ଡ ଖଟେଇବା, ଖଟ ମୁଣ୍ଡେଇବା ମାନେ ବର୍ଡନ ନବା। So you must interpret the message. Carefully follow the intention. What is the intention behind the communication? So many times it happens that you intend to communicate something and the other person interprets it in different way. ଏବେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ମିଡିଆ କହୁନି ଏ କିଡ୍ସ ଭିତରେ ସବୁ ଇଣ୍ଟରପ୍ରିଟେସନ ଅଲଗା ଅଲଗା ହେଉଛି, ସେ କଥା କହୁଛି। So therefore it may happen other way around. The other person may say something to you and you interpret in different way. So therefore, so while communicating with others, try to be as clear, concise. You can apply KISS formula. KISS means keep it short and simple. Whenever you are communicating, very short and use simple languages, like that. Then another is your apply all skills. ALL means A stands for ask, L stands for look, last L stands for listen. So there are 3 skills which can help in indulging in constructive communication. That means you are communicating not for destruction but for construction. So how can you do that constructive communication? By using ask, look, listen. What is ask? When to ask? Asking questions is generally a part in any conversation or interaction. Asking question, you are, for example, you have as a teacher you have taught. After the transaction or during the transaction, you can ask the question to the students. My dear students, I have discussed with this concept. What do you mean by this? What are the different factors? You are asking questions. For example, when we meet somebody, the first thing what we generally do is to ask, how do you do? After some time, what are doing? How many children? What like that? Asking questions. Another is look, even without speaking. Don't speak. Without speaking, a single word, person can speak a lot. As I was telling you, your eye contact. There are many situations where the person is communicating, that is non-verbal, communicating more through his or her gestures, body language. So, when you are interacting with a person, look at him or her and surrounding carefully. That means you are interacting, you are communicating. So, before that, you can see the surrounding. In which context you are communicating, where is the man. For example, you are communicating the teachers in your school. Similarly, you are communicating the teachers of many schools in a conference, like that. For example, if a person raises his or her eyebrows, it is a sign of question or skepticism. If you lose to notice, if you, it will miss it. Secondly, do not start a conversation when the person is not looking at you. You are conversing, but that man is not looking at you. Then stop your conversation. For example, if you enter the office of some senior persons like the collector, or sorry, like the college principal or the headmaster or director, if you see that he is busy looking at some other things, like files, talking to others, don't start speaking. When you have made an entry into the director's chamber and the director is writing some letter or issue something or talking something over the phone, don't say something. And last is your listen. Listening is very important part of interpersonal communication. Careful listening signifies, what does it mean? Listening doesn't mean only giving your ears. Listening with understanding. Careful listening signifies the feeling of connectedness. If you do not do that, you will lose an opportunity. Important indicators of good listening are, so how can you say it is good listening? These are the indicators. Number one, focused and meaningful eye contact. Listening means I'm going to second is proper feedback verbally. When you are asking something, when you say, are you listening to me? No, yes. Now tell me, what did I say? If he says something answer, then yes, he is listening. Feedback. Then third is, don't interrupt in between. So no obstacle. Then fourth, don't finish sentences for the speaker. So let the speaker complete. Don't make judgments. Sometimes we make judgments. No, don't make judgment. Paraphrase when appropriate. Sometimes you are asking the question or the student is giving answer not in a proper way. That means the question is not properly understood. So therefore, paraphrase means reword so that he can understand and can give answer. Reword the piece of your writing or speaking statement, something like that. For example, if I understand your question correctly, you want to know about the risk involved in the implementing the project. Now, is that right? Or briefly restate what the person said. So this is how you can communicate effectively so that we can make better understanding and better coordination so that we can achieve the goal. With these words, I can say that the assignment which has been given to me regarding MES-43 organizational behavior, that is completed, and I do hope my learners might have somehow, they could have understood me, and if you have understood, that will be reflected in the result, that will be reflected in your performance, and I do hope and I wish all the success, all the best wishes, and pray God, let you come out with a grand success. Anything else you want to speak? Or anything you want to clarify? Or otherwise, we can wind up the session. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Thank you. May God bless you. And please,
Thank you, sir.
there is more time. You can go through your many papers are there. You can go leisurely whenever you, because most of you are working. Whenever you find Sunday holiday, make a plan, make a routine, make a planning, time management. Then success is waiting. No problem. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Yes, sir.